Global war could happen way sooner than you think. Tensions have been skyrocketing in the Middle East, with numerous cities, including Dubai, suffering missile strikes, and reports claiming that Iran's supreme leader, who had been in power for over 36 years, has been killed. But before we look at how this could be the start of World War III, we need to understand why the biggest powers in the world have such a strong interest in the Middle East. When it comes to this conflict, the major players aren't just sitting on the sidelines. The United States is deeply involved, providing Israel with military aid, intelligence support, and coordinating strikes. Domestic political pressure also shapes American action. Groups like the American Israel Public Affairs Committee lobby lawmakers and have donated a lot of money to American congressmen and presidential campaigns, and over $230 million to Donald Trump by pro-Israel groups, according to Track AIPAC. That level of financial influence likely plays a role in strengthening relations and maintaining support. Russia sees this as an opportunity to expand its influence. It has condemned US and Israeli strikes, citing destabilization, while leveraging its alliance with Tehran to strengthen its position as a global power broker. Moscow benefits from a chaotic Middle East that challenges the US dominance, while also securing arms deals and protecting its energy interests. Meanwhile, China is playing a more calculated game. Beijing calls for restraint and respect for sovereignty, but it is also focused on protecting its energy imports and regional investments. A war that disrupts the Gulf would threaten global markets, something that China wants to avoid. At the same time, positioning itself as a mediator gives Beijing diplomatic leverage against the West. The reality is that all major nations have something at stake in this conflict, which makes the region a potential flashpoint for a much larger outburst. But this alone isn't why I believe this could escalate into a world war. For that, I want to introduce a concept known as the fourth turning. The core idea is simple. Hard times create strong people create easy times. Easy times create weak people, and weak people create hard times. This cycle is said to peak in crisis roughly every 80 to 100 years. The last major global hard time was World War II. If this pattern holds, the 2020s could mark the beginning of another crisis era, and there is historical evidence people use to support this theory. Let's go back to the start of this cycle. World War II was clearly the hard time. After it ended, societies rebuilt with urgency and discipline. Leadership was strong, nations rebuilt, and cooperation increased. The United Nations was founded, NATO was formed, Japan and India rebuilt Asia. Economies boomed in the West, the Middle East began advancing. Those were comparatively stable and prosperous decades. But over time, dependence on complex systems and institutions grew. As societies became more comfortable, political polarization increased. Trust in governments and global institutions declined, and international cooperation weakened. A sense of control over global stability began to fade. And now, according to this theory, we are entering the fourth turning, the crisis phase. Weakness gives way to hard times. Instead of negotiations and diplomacy, weapons begin doing the talking. The Middle East remains central because it's home to vital energy supplies, and Iran has the ability to disrupt a major trade route, the Strait of Hormuz. Looking at the broader picture, escalation could spread. Russia and China could increase military support to Iran, drawing themselves closer to the conflict. China could even take advantage of global instability to make a move on Taiwan. That is theoretical, and so is much of this analysis. Even the involvement itself of Russia and China hasn't been brought to the table. But when you step back and examine the alignment of powers, economic pressures, and rising tensions, the possibility of a wider global war does not seem low.